flew into JFK Airport, there was no devotees there.
Когда я прилетел в аэропорт Нью-Йорка, там не было преданных.
I had a lot of luggage.
А у меня было много багажа с собой.
So an extra. I had Valentina's bag full of books and had a suitcase.
С книгами и мой чемодан.
Then another bag.
Маленькая сумочка.
I was pushing them around and then because I didn't have any change to get for it. I was just trying to move the whole thing. And I went outside and I didn't see anybody. I sat down and waited and waited and waited and nobody came.
Я ждал, и никто не приехал.
And I looked up the telephone number of the Brooklyn Temple.
Я посмотрел телефонный номер храма в
And I spoke to the temple president.
Я позвонил туда и поговорил.
And he knew something about this japa retreat.
И он слышал что-то о той программе, которую мы собирались провести.
So anyway, he said, just jump in a taxi cab and I'll pay for it.
И он говорит, просто возьмите такси.
Just come to the temple and you can stay in a room here. And
вы можете здесь остановиться.
So I went to the temple and stayed overnight. And the next day I had to go back to the airport and fly down to Florida. And again, there was none of the devotees who were part of this team of the japa. It's called Bhagavat Life. This team, none of them were there. So again, he paid for my taxi back to the airport.
И Храм оплатил мою дорогу опять на такси до аэропорта, поскольку преданные из этой группы Бхагават.
He also invited me to live in the temple like I did before, and he offered me that I would have my own room and such and nice prasadam and such offer.
У вас своя комната и будет прекрасный просад.
Anyway, I flew down to Florida. It was very warm there.
Когда я прилетел в Флориду, там было очень тепло.
It's almost like a separate country.
Буквально как в другую страну.
Yeah, I saw an old high school friend of mine.
Я встретил там своего одноклассника или одноклассницу.
And I stayed for a few days there, preaching to this person.
И там я проповедовал этому.
Then I flew to North Carolina.
Потом я полетел.
And we had the first japa weekend.
И там было такое выходные джапы.
They don't like to use the word workshop anymore because people don't like to work on the weekend.
Раньше это называлось
workshop weekend.
Мастерская, но теперь люди так не любят слышать такое слово мастерская, потому что никто не хочет работать.
And it was very nice. It was they rented a hall in a hotel.
Было такое помещение, зал в гостинице.
There was about 30 or so devotees.
Где-то было около 30 преданных.
And I met the young man who is who made this kind of group of Bhagavat Life.
Я встретил человека, юношу, который создал эту группу, организовал группу Bhagavat Life.
And we were staying at the temple president's house.
И мы остановились в доме вице-президента, в доме президента.
It was nice doing this, preaching about the holy name.
Было очень здорово проповедовать славу святого имени.
And this devotee, his name is Purusha Shukta. He was there for most of the first weekend, and there's a lecture that the sannyasi usually gives about chanting with feeling. And he's heard, so many sannyasis and people give this lecture. But he told his wife that he never heard anyone give a lecture like I give. So that mine was the best.
Он на первой части этой программы там остался, и обычно в начале вот таких подобных программ саньяси, проповедник, который все это дает, он дает первую вводную такую лекцию о повторении святого имени с чувством. И он говорит, что он прослушал множество подобных лекций от разных саньяси, но то, что он услышал от меня, он поделился этим своей женой, это была самая лучшая лекция, которую он услышал.
I also met an old friend from England named Jayadev.
Встречал своего давнего приятеля из Англии, которого
and he gave me his CD. He's a very good singer and he plays drums and
и он дал мне свой CD, он хороший очень певец.
Producer music. He used to be in a famous band in England in the 60s called the Rupettes. He was a drummer.
И он был барабанщиком знаменитого группы в
So
Англии.
his daughter lives in this community.
И его дочь находится.
And so him and his wife, whom I knew very well, were both there. So they invited me over for prasadam. They asked me what I want to have. I said I would like to have some waffles, American waffles, bouquet waffles.
Они спросили, что вы хотели на обед, я сказал, какие-то американские вафли. Сказали, конечно, вафли так вафли.
And he was in the Krinitsa festival.
He's now here in Moscow.
Oh, he's in Moscow now. Oh, that's good. And he's going to be organizing the stage show for the Rath Yatra. So he wants me to.
Он был в Кринице в этом году, и он будет принимать участие в программе.
I don't know, but I think he wants both of us to play the drums at the same time. I don't know what his plan is.
Вместе на барабанах.
Because he knows I'm a drummer.
Я не знаю, как это может звучать, как это может вылиться в реальности.
His daughter is also famous singer Gaurangi. She has many CDs and she's famous around the world actually. She sang this song Sham, 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 and a lot of ladies dance to this, and it's very famous. And she sang Jaya Jaya Prabhupada and some other songs. I also have their CD. And her father is a therapist. So he also does regression, hypnotic regression. So he put his daughter under hypnotic regression and asked her, what is your name? Write your name. And she wrote
знаменит своими сеансами временной регрессии.
Mozart.
Вводит человека в такое состояние,
she signed
свое прошлое.
Mozart.
Ввел свою дочку в такое состояние, он спросил, какое твое имя сейчас.
Under hypnosis she wrote Mozart.
И она под гипнозом написала Моцарт.
With the first name of a kind of intimate name that hardly ever anyone knew.
И она также там написала у нее не просто Моцарт, такое имя, которым называли Моцарта близкий. Это имя особо широко.
So they didn't think it was so they didn't take it so seriously, but then they went to a library and they found his actual signature and they found it was exactly the same.
И сначала не придали этому большому значению, но потом, придя в библиотеку, нашли подпись, которая подписывался Моцарт, и она выглядела точно так же, как то, что изобразила Гауранги.
So anyway, his daughter is famous as being the incarnation of Mozart.
Его дочь знаменита как воплощение Моцарта.
And anyway, so then we flew back to New York, but this time to LaGuardia Airport.
И потом мы вернулись в Нью-Йорк, но в этот раз уже в другой аэропорт.
And then I met the person that I was going to stay with for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Меня встретил человек, у которого должен был прожить 2 недели.
He reminded me a little bit of Gopi Puranadana.
Он напомнил мне немного Gopi
And he was very chubby.
Он был очень такой крупный.
And but he was different because he was like laughing and very like always joking and.
Но он такой, он находился в другом настроении, как был все время.
So when I was sitting in the LaGuardia airport, I was thinking, oh no, okay, how long will it take for somebody to come now? Maybe the same thing will happen. And this devotee shows up. Hi, Haribol. You must be Purnachandra Maharaj. I said, yes. And he says, well, I got my car parked out, I'll just pull it around and so it'll be easy. I said, okay, I'll wait here. So then it took him, I sat there for half an hour, he got lost and trying to find the way and finally we got into the car.
В общем, в конечном образе мы оказались в машине.
And you know, it's like American person. You know, the American mentality is more pronounced, I think, in New York. It was very funny and very like extroverted person and like, joking. Anyway, so we got a little bit lost because it was his first time for us, like going to the airport. So we were both like, because I was from New York, so we were both like, I was giving him some advice, and then he would see something. Both of us, we found our way to the Holland Tunnel, and went to New Jersey, which is the next state. Went to his house. His house was in the Indian section. Actually, there's maybe millions of Indians in New Jersey. They're all over the place. And they have towns which look like New Delhi. Like, if you walk there, there's no white people, there's just Indian people. And they have, you know, like Krishna cuisine and Krishna shop and Bengali sweets and all of these Indian names of shops. Like.
И вот в этом штате Нью-Джерси есть целые индийские города, которые вообще могут напоминать Нью-Дели, там ни одного нет белого человека, там все эти магазины, там Кришна Кузин, Кришна Шоп.
Кришна магазин, Кришна
ресторан. Сладости, ресторан Кришны.
And so then they gave him a house. I had my own apartment. I had 2 bedrooms, an office, kitchen, dining room.
Спальнями, с офисом,
2 bathrooms, and it's a completely new place. And they were downstairs, and they were like cooking for me and washing my clothes and everything. So I was in my own place. It was so nice to be alone in this big apartment. And And then I was preaching around New Jersey to the Indian people.
И я проповедовал в Нью-Джерси для индусов.
And you know, just like just to give you an idea, like what I went to, there was like a big program. There was maybe 80 people.
Такая типичная программа была, это где-то программа.
It was just for kirtan. I didn't give a lecture. I just came in to sing.
И никакой лекции не было, просто был киртан.
Because they had 12-hour kirtan from 6 to 6. They had 12-hour kirtan.
6-часовой киртан. 12-часовой киртан, 6 до 6.
So then they had prashadam, and then the man wrote me a check for $150 just for coming there. And then the man from across the street, he said, "Oh, please bring your holy feet into my house." What can I say? Please bring your feet into my home. Okay. So I went into his home and we looked around. He had a TV screen which is as big as this scarf. It was like a movie, I'd say like I've never seen something. So it was like it was like 4 meters long and 3 meters high. Anyway, so he sat us down, and then he brought towels for everybody, Palitensa, and gave everybody new towels, and then bowed down to me, touched my feet, gave donation, and okay, now, okay, we should go now. We went back. So we had a few programs on this. Then what did we do? And then we went to Manhattan, and there was Thanksgiving Day feast they have on 2nd Avenue. They have the second, 26 2nd Avenue, this original storefront that Prabhupada preached from. But on 1st Avenue, they have a building where the devotees live there. So we went there, and I met a lady that I used to know from Rostov.
И там сохранился еще тот изначальный помещение с магазином, где Прабхупада начинал свой профиль, на Первом авеню. Сейчас огромные здания, живущие преданные. Я встретил там одну преданную из Ростова, которую я еще знал по России.
And I came back again the next day to 26th Avenue for some bhajans also.
Потом я вот на этот самый первый храм, в котором
That's like the first place where Prabhupada preached, so you can really feel some special atmosphere there.
День был там, и вы можете почувствовать.
It's like the whole movement started from this storefront, small room.
Магазинчик, бывшего магазина, с которого.
And after the program, they served prasadam, and people started talking. And I found out that of the 20 people that were there were like 6 of them were Russian.
После просады уже люди стали разговаривать друг с другом. Я заметил, что из 20 человек, которые там были,
mostly from Brighton Beach.
В основном из Brighton Beach.
So I got the name and the number of this lady who, Brenda, she was going to start some preaching there in Brighton Beach. So if I go back there, hopefully I can preach there.
Проповедовать на Брайтон Бич. Я подумал, туда, возможно, когда-нибудь посещу Брайтон Бич центр.
And we had the New York Japa weekend.
И потом был выходные джапы в Нью-Йорке.
It was about 8 or 9 brahmacharis from the ashram, and then it was about 8 ladies who came.
8-9 brahmachari из ашрама и столько же женщин.
It was also very nice. And then after a few days of going back to the apartment, then we went to. I went to Philadelphia for the Sunday feast. So somehow during this time, Philadelphia is about a 2-hour drive from Jersey City. Everything's pretty close, like Manhattan and Brooklyn and Jersey City is half an hour drive, and then 2 hours drive to Philadelphia. And some other program I went there. And then finally we did the last Japa weekend in Philadelphia. And I was living in a restaurant, which has been there for over 20 years or something. There's the Hare Krishna Govinda's restaurant in Philadelphia. It used to be a men's home, like for people who were homeless. And gradually, the devotee fixed it up and made a restaurant, and so I was staying on the top floor. So everywhere I had to go, I had to go through like 4 or 5 flights of stairs each time I went up and down this building. But they had great prasadam there. And there was a Bengali in the restaurant. There was a Bengali cook.
И
The guy
повар
was
там
great. He
в
was
ресторане был
cooking
Григорий.
for me. That's right.
Он готовил для меня, это было чудесно.
And they have this. They have a regular restaurant. Like it's more. They play jazz in the background, and everything's dark. It's like dark wood and like brick. Nice atmosphere. And next door they have what's called Gourmet to Go. It's for young people. It's all a lot of teenagers and people who are in their 20s, and they go there and they have maybe 20 tables there. It's very, very busy, this place.
То есть там есть ресторан, где играет такой джаз.
It's actually it's like two restaurants.
Как два ресторана. То есть один ресторан такая джаз играет фоном и темные стены. Там из темного дерева столики, и такая атмосфера очень хорошая, приятная. И второй ресторанчик, это для молодежи, там где столиков 20, и оно все время место забито, молодежь очень популярная.
I met a devotee that I knew in the Philippines.
Я там встретил
1986 or something.
Знаю, с 86-го года мы с ним встречались в то время на Филиппинах.
He's also a gourmet cook.
И он тоже так же готовит для вот этого ресторана гурме, где собираются молодежь.
And they order some cheese, they like different kinds of cake, like cheesecake and chocolate and all strawberry, all different kinds of cakes, and it's all vegan because most of the people who come there are vegan. So they have these cakes, and you eat them, and you cannot tell the difference. Like if it tastes just like if it's cream or like milk made from imagine eating a cheesecake and it's made from vegan, you can't taste the difference. It tastes just like cream and cheese and all this stuff. That was amazing.
Множество пирожных, все готовят сладости, там, чизкейки, но там посетители это в основном веганы, то есть они не едят молочных продуктов. И вот удивительно, когда ты ешь этот чизкейк и не понимаешь, что это не сыр, там, не творог, не сливки, а на вкус то же самое.
So we had the Japa weekend in a devotee has the yoga studio where people do hatha yoga, and they have like big, mirrors and a very big hall, and men and women come in there. Both they do all the asanas together.
Это у нас уикенд был дома у человека, не дома, а в студии йоги. Это был такой огромный зал, большой зал в зеркалах весь. Там собираются мужчины и женщины и занимаются асанами.
And that's seems to be like a very prominent way of preaching in America now. You have some yoga studio. Either the devotee owns it or they rent it for once a week, and they invite people and they do some yoga, or they have a class about Bhagavad Gita, yoga. People are very much interested in yoga, Bhagavad Gita, and all these things. And they invite people and they make new devotees from.
Это такой очень сильный способ проповеди в Америке, когда на выходные людей приглашают в такую студию йоги, занимаются немножко йогой или расскажут им о Бхагавад-гите.
And they like kirtan. So that they have all these yoga groups and all these yoga studios in all the cities. And they have kirtan and they study Bhagavad Gita and then they do yoga asanas. So the devotees in some places are like preaching to those people and gradually making them into devotees, converting them slowly. That's the new kind of preaching. Probably in about 12 or 15 years it will move to Russia. Because we don't see any yoga studios in Moscow, I think, not yet. You just see these like the gymnasium. And
не так много можно увидеть студий йоги в Москве.
Yeah, gyms, yeah.
Сейчас больше каких-то
But it's about 20 years later.
Фитнесов.
Any questions? I gave up my diet completely. I'm just eating everything. Cheesecake.
Отошел от своей диеты, ел
Pizza.
все. Чизкейки, пицца.
Pumpkin pie.
In America it's impossible to follow any diet.
Yeah, it's impossible. Especially living in a restaurant and having a Bengali
В
cook.
ресторане и бенгальский повар там все заправляет. Диету следовать практически невозможно.
Shashi will bring you back to your diet.
Bring me back.
Shashi will bring you back to your diet.
When I go to Sarajevo, strict diet.
До Сараева подождем, уже в Сараево начнем следовать.
So now I have some khichdi waiting for me. Well, I will take some khichdi. Thank you for coming to meet me.
Спасибо, что пришли встретить меня.
How long will everybody be around? Will we have some program on the weekend? And we can arrange some.
Программа будет, которая